What's going on? I'm Whit, and today sharing the Model One with you from UniDesign Watch Company. As the name would suggest, this is their debut model. I'll be showing you the watch in stone gray, but it also comes in olive green and Santorini blue. And we'll get started with the specs and measurements before I give you my likes and dislikes. So this sport watch is kind of a unique measurement because it's obviously a square watch. So if you kind of measure the bezel here, you've got 37 millimeters by 35.5, but if you measure from the bumper to bumper, as I'll call it, that ends up being about 39.8 millimeters. Nice short lug-to-lug of 46 millimeters. This integrated bracelet gives it a nice wide stance, 25 millimeters at the end of the lugs here. If you were to take the bracelet off, this lug opening here is about 13 millimeters. It's a beautiful 9.8 millimeters thin, and it weighs 162 grams, sized for my 8-inch wrist. The Model One features a 316L stainless steel case and bracelet, almost entirely brushed surfaces, with the exception of a few pops of high polish accents. The bracelet, as I mentioned, 25 millimeters here, but it tapers down to just 18 millimeters at the clasp, and that is a double push-button butterfly deployant clasp. There's a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. It's got a signed screw-down crown, which is about 5.5 millimeters in diameter. There's a nice screw-down solid case back with specs and serial number, 100 meters of water resistance. The dial has a tapisserie pattern, or hobnail. You might more commonly call it a waffle dial. It features metallic paint and applied indices with polished surrounds. BGW9 Swiss Superluminova on the indices and handset as well. Beautiful broad arrow pointers that are matched in size for great balance and symmetry. They only differ by their length. UniDesign chose the Miyota 9015 premium automatic movement for this watch, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 24 joules, a 42-hour power reserve. It features hacking, automatic, and hand winding, and of course that quick set date. Its stated accuracy is -10 to +30 seconds per day. I hand timed this over 31 days, and it came in at +7.5 seconds per day. And the time grapher kind of matches the readings I was getting a little towards the end of that run-in period at +14 seconds per day, 264 degrees amplitude, and a beat error of 0.1 milliseconds. All right, let me point out a couple of things that bugged me and a lot more that didn't. The first is going to be this crown. So it's just a little too small for my liking, a little too hard to manipulate. I think some of that could be just from the shape of it as well. But again, I'll take the aesthetics over the functionality because, I mean, it is doable. It's just that if you had to hand wind it, I mean, your fingers are going to be hurting. So, but it looks great on the watch. So this is one of those where I think the look wins over functionality. Now the bracelet, caution, it's a hair puller, but the weird thing is after a couple of days, I didn't notice anything. So I don't know if it yanked all the hair I had or I just kind of got used to it and it was just kind of settling into place. So if that's a thing for you, just be forewarned. And another thing about this bracelet, it just really shows scratches. I mean, I'm pretty gentle on watches, and you can see here, it's just a lot of scratches showing up. This is after 30 days, so, you know, it may not be any more different than just a normal watch, but for whatever reason, I just feel like this flat surface really shows off those scratches. And on the dial, these signature and the model plaques, they disappear in bright light, so it just kind of has this sterile look, but you're wondering what those plaques are since you can't see the print. It just kind of created a little disconnect with me, because it makes it look like a sterile dial. While we're talking about the dial, let me shift to my likes now. I just love the shimmer of this handset and these indices. That's just a favorite of mine to see that light bounce back at me, and this one is not dropping the ball at all. And the luminescence is applied well. I mean, it's bright. It's something you don't always expect from a sport watch that kind of borders dress watch. And speaking of which, this has got some great tool watch looks to it. I mean, just from the brushing and the ruggedness of the flat bracelet, it's definitely the best of both worlds in the sport watch. You know, you can dress it up or dress it down very easily Looks at home with shorts and a t-shirt or a suit, right? And I really love the thinness of this case. Again, we're talking about beefy good looks here, yet a dainty side profile. And I just thought it was a great slimming effect. So wide here, and again, very masculine, but then it's just nice and thin. And I love that they gave this a 100-meter water resistance rating. They could have very easily just slapped a 50-meter sticker on it and called it a day, but they didn't. They made sure that it lived up to the lifestyle of somebody that would be wearing this particular sport watch. And I just like this square case. It reminds me obviously of a G-Shock Square, but refined, with this finishing and this, again, sport watch look to it. It's just a great design and wears so well, and man, I love it. The Model One from UniDesign Watch Company comes in at $675 US. That's about 538 pounds or 630 euros. And there's free shipping worldwide via UPS. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button down there. And if you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to have you along for the ride. I'm Whit, with so many watches, so little time and money.